here we are, Saturday morning. Yay! We have some errands to run this morning. Not sure what the weekend is going to bring, but I do know I have errands this morning. I'm actually starting with a trip to an apothecary because I do know that they carry our trace mineral packs. I normally order these from Amazon, but the ones that I ordered the other day were lost in shipment, and the other ones are actually going to be delayed, and we are out. So I know that this place used to have them, so I'm going to go ahead and see if they have them and pick up a box or two to get us through, and that'll be fun. And then we are going to go in to do our bank. So Zoe is going to get a biscuit, and she will be along for the ride. Then we have some shopping to do. After that, not really sure. I do need to clean my floors. My floors get so dirty with this dog. It's frustrating. Speaking of frustrating is the scales. I yesterday stepped on the scales and I saw where I was, and I was happy because the weight is going down slowly but surely. It's doing well. Everything is good. Stepped on this morning and it shows me 11 pounds up. There is no way that I gained 11 pounds overnight. Yesterday I had a plate of strawberries. I had a grilled chicken breast. I had a big veggie pack full of potatoes, carrots, green peppers, etc. And I had a piece of berry cobbler. That is not 11 pounds of food. Not. I have been suspecting that something is wrong with my scales. It is either off balance, which I've never had a problem with before, or the scales are old. These scales are old. I've had them since before Jason and I were together. I mean, I had them when I was married before, and so that's like 10, 11 years old. So I'm thinking maybe the scales have gone bad. And I've been saying that scales are stupid, and I'm wondering if that's not it, because I know when I step on the scales, it'll jump around a lot, and then it'll a lot of times give me error messages, and yeah, I don't know. So I think I'm going to try a new scales today, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully that solves it, because I'm tired of being frustrated with the scales just being all willy-nilly, crazy. Time for an adventure with the doggies. Where are we going, Zozo? Where are we going? We actually got most of our errands done. We did one or two places in Hagerstown while we were there for the banks. And then we came home, dropped off Zoe, and did one or two more places. We actually hung out a little bit, and Jason's outside mowing, and I just cleaned some floors, as in like hands and knees scrubbed some floors. This dog makes a mess. Be that as it may, the bathrooms, the kitchen, the family room, and the hallway into the master bedroom are spotless. You could eat off of them. Well, I probably wouldn't, because Zoe is checking them out, so they're probably already dirty. So that just leaves me with the living room wood floors to do tomorrow, so I'm happy with that. While we were out and about, I bought myself a new scale. And I told myself, okay, Mary Fran, the scales are going to be different today because it's a different set of scales. They're probably not going to weigh you the same. Be prepared. The new number makes me want to cry. 20 pounds heavier. That's a huge difference. I keep trying to tell myself, okay, Mary Fran, you know that you lost weight last month. So that's what matters, you're going down. But seeing that higher number was really demoralizing. I got an eye scale, so I'm going to link it up here shortly and see where that goes. Not going to let this demoralizing event stop me. I am going to continue on. I am going to win. I am going to do this. As depressing as the new scales were, I'm not going to let it stop me. We've been working this afternoon, so we're just going to go out and pick up subs. We're going to try a new joint. It's on the west side of town. We live on the east side, and it's north. And so we have heard that their subs are really, really good. So we're going to check it out today. So Jason will be coming in a couple minutes, and we're going to head out and get some subs and probably just watch TV, maybe a movie tonight. Who knows? But we're trying to get a lot of our work done so that tomorrow we have a more free day that we can actually do something. So there is that. It is Sunday morning. I have been so productive. I've already made muffins for Jason's breakfast. I've actually made homemade stuffed shells, so that's cooking the pasta, making the filling, stuffing them, the whole 9 yards. That's for dinner tomorrow night. Pulled out stuff for the freezer for tonight. And I made chop for the bird. And chop for the bird is basically fresh vegetables that you chop up in tiny pieces for them to eat. So it's a lot of fresh vegetables. And then I actually gave him some fresh, and I actually gave him a piece of fruit, and he actually is going for the fruit this morning. It is 8 o'clock. I'm heading for the shower. So here we are. It is June. How crazy is that? And with June, I actually want to talk to you about May, because we need to finish off May. And May was a month for a lot of new things as I worked to get myself back in line. And one of the things I did was I actually started a journal. And as I talked about last month, I'm always on a mission to find the perfect journal. I never find it. So I decided that I was going to create my own, and we would go from there. And then I would be able to use it for a month, figure out what worked, what didn't work, adjust. And then at the end, hopefully by the end of the year, I can actually have like the perfect tracker, journal, to put all of this stuff from my weight loss journey and my life into one spot. That would be perfect. And my plan is, once it is perfect, I'll actually just go ahead and create one and then be able to print it. So anyway, I did that, and I created myself a journal. Okay, so I'm going to talk about what I did. We're going to talk about what's in the journal, and I will talk to you then about what we're doing for June. So let's get into the journal here. So the first page is weight, and this page is actually now going to be defunct because the new scales weigh me 20 pounds heavier. So this weight that started is incorrect. So I'm going to just kind of add something in later. I'm not really quite sure. The first page I did was a habit page. So what this is I did a couple different habits. I assigned each one a color, and then for each day I actually colored in what I did. Green was my 5,000 steps. So you can see I actually did not do that well on that one. And you see at the end I didn't even track. But you actually can see that I did really good with yellow, which was my vitamins. I actually did really good with my calories. I kept my calories in line most days, which was the blue. And you can see the water, which was orange. I did 50-50. So, you know, I am able to see it. But if you actually watch me, I'm actually having to stop and like, okay, which one was, oh yeah, that's orange. Oh yeah, this is. So it worked, but not optimally. So I have a different plan for this one. The next page was a page of goals, and my goals were to lose weight, to read at least one edifying book, to purge at least 5 big items, to post on my weight loss blog at least 8 times, and to post on YouTube at least 3 times a week. Losing weight, did it fabulously. Edifying books, I actually read 4 edifying books. I did Fat Chance, Ultra Processed People, and Fast Like a Girl. And then I also did Healthy Habits Suck. Some of these are still upcoming, but you will be getting the reviews. Purging the items, I actually did pretty good on this one. I actually was able to get some things out. I've sold some, I've thrown stuff away. I've actually been doing really good on this. Posting on my weight loss blog and my website. I did 4, so I only did 50% of what I wanted. So that is a failure. I still actually do post my weight loss journey there. I know I am a YouTuber, but I have this thing for writing. I like to write. I like to read. It sometimes is easier to read a little bit for me than it is to catch a video. So I still write in my blog. Not a lot, only 4 times last month. And then last but not least was to post on YouTube at least 3 times a week. I did that well. I did pretty much 5 times, if not more, a week. So that was a success. The next page, and the next 2 and actually 3 pages are food. And I broke And I broke it down into a section for each day of eating, and I can put my food in there. And then at the bottom, I actually included what my calories were, and I included my miles. And then I had columns, and one column is for slow. Did I eat slow? Did I take my acid reflux pill? And what was the results? And I'm trying to keep track because I'm still having problems. They put me on a new medicine and I'm still having problems with acid reflux. So I was able to keep track of everything. Now I still do MyFitnessPal, but I like to be able to see it so I can go back and be like, my weight went up, why? And I can see it easily versus scroll, scroll, scroll. I can see it on one page and I can see what I did. So I actually did that for the whole month. So the next page, I did have one date that rolled right over on it, but I did the word of the week, and I actually am still doing that, and I put it down in here. And then I had a spot for my free money, just didn't do it. And I also always struggle with measurements. I didn't do that one either. The next page was actually for my books. And I had actually seen somebody do this. They've got a calendar, and they actually started to keep track of when they started a book and when they ended a book the whole way through. And I wanted to do it because I thought that'd be neat to see where I'm reading, what I'm reading, and how long it's taking me. So I did that with each book that I read. You can see where I started and stopped each book. And you can actually tell, like some of the other books that were more serious and more in-depth, they took me longer. The next page was reviews. And I actually stopped and wrote a short synopsis and review of each book that I read. I actually had only planned one page. Luckily, I put it at the end because I actually have a couple pages of reviews. I read The Wrong Daughter by Dandy Smith. I read The Lost Letters of Evelyn Wright, which was a really good book. I did read Ultra Processed People, which is one of my edifying books. I read Fat Chance by Julie Haddon, which is another one of my edifying books. I read The Room in the Attic by Lois Douglas. I read Lean on Me by Beth Moran. I read Only the Brave by Danielle Steele. I read Girl Gone Missing by Dredda Mitchell and Ryan Carter. I read The Girl in Seat 2A by Diana Wilksoid. I read The Ball at Versailles by Danielle Steele. I read The Paris Daughter by Kristen Hamill. I read Fast Like a Girl by Mindy Pelz, which was number 3 of my edifying books. I read The Exchange by John Grisham. I read The Underground Library by Jennifer Ryan. I read Unsinkable by Jenny L. Wash. I read Upside Down by Danielle Steele. I read Healthy Habits Suck, which was number 4 of my edifying books. And I read The Royal Librarian. I will put all the links to what I read in the below. I would say out of my favorite edifying books, the most impactful one was Ultra Processed People. The most emotional one was Julie Haddon's Fat Chance. For fiction, I'm going to actually say it was probably a tie. And this is going to be a shocker because I like Danielle Steele's books. They're quick reads. I really, really like them. However, she did not get a tie for top place. I liked The Paris Daughter. It was about an American living in Paris during World War II and how circumstances caused her to run for her life, leaving her child. And she never recovered from that and struggled to find her daughter. The second favorite one was The Underground Library, which was also in World War II. It was in London, and it was about a librarian who was working at a library, and the library was bombed. And they actually took the library to an underground station and actually managed to continue on with the library in the underground station, which is where everybody was going to shelter from the bombs. And it talked about how they were building a life, and they had medics and everything down there, and it was a whole world under there during the air raids. And it was a really, really good book. And even better, at the very end, it talked about how this was actually based on a true story. So it was actually a really good book. So those would be my 2 favorites for my fiction. And the last page is a things of note. And this is just things that happened in the month that I kind of want to remember. Garden was planted and growing. Mulberry started, and I started to do this, and I actually got my mulberry jelly complete in the month of May. We got Mom's house mostly sorted. We bought a riding lawnmower, things like that. For this channel, I actually put in there that I started the tips, tricks, and hacks videos. So that was what I put in my journal for the month of May. And for the month of May, I actually also started intermittent fasting. Overall for May, I lost 7.5 pounds. So I'm tickled. So June is upon us, and I am determined and I'm ready to get this started. So I actually went ahead and made my next pages for the journal because I wanted to change what worked and what didn't work. And the first thing is I did a goal page. So my first page is the goal page, and this is actually going to talk about what I want to do. I want to lose weight. I want to do 8 blog posts. Again, I'm aiming for 8. I want to read at least 1 edifying book. I need my purge project. And I added that I want to exercise at least 3 times a week. 3. I'm not asking for 5. I'm not asking for 7. 3. So those are my goals for the month. The next page is my habit. If you remember, last month I did a calendar with that. This was confusing because I was constantly like, what color do I need? And if I look at this, I'm like, I sit there and I'm like, which color is what? What did I do? What did I not do? It was confusing to me. So this month I actually am doing just one. I have 30-day blocks. Each one is labeled, and this way when I do it, I'll be able to look and say, okay, this was the goal and look at all of those colors. This was the goal and look at all those colors. I'm hoping this will be easier for my mind to be able to differentiate. I love those spiral habit trackers, but after doing the calendar, I'm not sure it would work for me because I need it to be separate and easy for my brain to assimilate. I may actually print one of those spiral ones up here eventually and try one, but for this month, we're doing this. The next thing is food. And if you remember correctly, last month I just did big pages and I just did it all one together. This month we are not doing that because when I actually had it together, if I would find myself a day or two late in doing it, it was really, really hard for me to wrap my head around the 13. I'm on 13, but is that Monday, Tuesday, Saturday, Friday, whatever? And I had a hard time wrapping it around my mind around the weeks. So I figured I needed to put it into a smaller section into weeks. So I have done it into weeks. I actually still like the box. I still like my columns with showing the acid, reflux, and the pills. And I still have the box. Now the first week actually has 8 because I had to make up those extra 2 days. So I wanted to run my week from Sunday to Saturday. So since this week, since the beginning of the month started on a Saturday, I actually just did Saturday to Saturday. And so I have that. At the bottom, I also included my calories for the total. And I also will be including the hours that I fast. And then because that one page with my word of the day and my measurements just didn't even get used, I actually have gone ahead and put in the word of the day down on the bottom of each week. And this week, for the first week, it is to shine. I am going to shine this week. So I did that for each week and I color coded it. The first week is green, then I did red, and you notice I don't have a word of the week. I won't have that until next week. And then I did pink, and then I did orange. And the last week also has an extra day to make up for that extra day of the month. So I did that. The next page is the highlights, and this is the same as the things that I did page. I wanted to put this in there, and the last time I just had to wait till the very end to put it in because I wanted to leave the reviews at the end. So this is the highlights. So when something else happens big, I can just go ahead and put it in, and that way I can keep a track of what it is. Next thing is my books. And last month I had this and I kept track of where I started. This once again was very confusing to me because it means nothing. I kept up with it religiously, but it meant nothing because you look at it and it's just a bunch of lines. So this month I actually have a page, and I'm actually just going to put on there the date that I started, the name of the book, and then I'll put the date that I ended underneath it, and then make my list that way. I loved the concept of the reviews. So last but not least, I have a page for reviews, and I actually did just already finish that first book. So I do need to put my review in it. And that is the end. And the review pages are at the end because, well, who knows how many books I'm going to read. So that is the plan for June. In May, I think I did really good. I'm ready to rock out June and see what we can do. Picked more mulberries, and today is going to be mulberry syrup, so I'm just straining my juice right now. Hard work, but very rewarding. So I did a lot of batches of mulberry syrup, and I am pretty much done the syrup for the year. I could actually do 1 or 2 more batches of jelly or syrup, but if I stop right now, I will have the same amount that I had last year, which got us through the year, so I should be good. The kitchen is cleaned up. And I actually just made a run out to meet somebody, and I sold something. So the purge is happening. I have a couple bucks in my pocket and something is out of my house. Win-win. We're just having hot dogs on the grill. We have buffalo dogs from a local butcher shop, and we'll just do mac and cheese and baked beans. Summer food. And after that, it'll just be another normal evening, watching TV, hanging out, commiserating about the fact that we have to work tomorrow. There is still a few little things that need to be done outside. Jason is down by the road trimming a bush, and so I'm inside with the dog. And then we'll go outside. I think we have 1 or 2 things to plant and just kind of do. We actually picked up some okra today. We do have a little bit of space in our garden yet, so we're going to put that in the garden. So little things like that, just hanging out outside. No excuses. So, we are into January. How great.